Hello everybody and welcome to Letterbox Book Club. My name is Claire.
And I'm Mackenzie.
And today we will be discussing the grand finale to the illustrious YA...
Well, not really.
Alright, kill the vibe, Kenzie. Alright, just absolutely obliterate it. Fine, that's fine. What a fine conclusion to Holly Black's Cruel Prince series.
But it's not.
This main trilogy... Just let me finish!
But it's not.
Kenzie, this main trilogy, though.
No, because then there's also the King of Elfheim and why he learned to hate stories.
Hey, do we want to end the series or do you want to continue, Kenzie? This is your choice right now.
I want to end it, but...
This is a trilogy in our eyes.
The third in the series that we will not be continuing.
I always thought it was a trilogy, to be fair. Anyway, yes, this is Holly Black's The Queen of Nothing. And when Kenzie is...
And boy, did it make me feel nothing.
Love it. And when Kenzie's ready, she can read the blurb.
His voice is soft, and I make the mistake of looking into his black eyes at his wicked curving mouth. But your beauty will fade, he continues just as softly, speaking like a lover, and all you have and all you are will... Wait. And all you have and all you are will rot away to nothing. You will be nothing, you are nothing. As the exiled mortal Queen of Faerie, Jude is reeling from Cardan's betrayal and is determined to reclaim everything he took from her. Opportunity arrives in the form of her deceptive twin sister Taryn, whose life is in peril. Jude must return to the treacherous fairy court and confront her lingering feelings for Cardan. But Elfheim is not as she left it. War is brewing, and she becomes ensnared in the conflict's bloody politics. When a terrible curse is unleashed, panic spreads throughout the land, forcing Jude to choose between her ambition and her humanity.
I'm annoyed now that this is not just a set trilogy. I was under the impression it's all it was. What are the next couple of books on the back of your book? What does it say?
It's just the King of Elfheim and how he learned to hate stories.
Oh, okay. Do we know what that's even about?
No.
Do we care? No.
No.
Is it like a novella?
No, it's a big book.
Is it about Locke?
Oh, I think it's a Cardan's backstory.
Oh, but like... So it's a weird little prologue, not quite, even though it's a fully fledged book. Like we get enough of Cardan's backstory in this book, I would say. So anyway, but yeah, I think this is a conclusion. It ended well. Anyway, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, Kenzie. What was that facial expression?
I hate this book and I hate this series.
God damn. Okay, Kenzie. Pop off my queen. Tell us why.
I think this book is a little bit longer than the first two as
no,
well.
It's shorter.
Is it shorter? It feels so much longer.
No, it was like 309 or some ebook pages, and the other one was like 336, and then I think the first one's like 360.
Anyway.
How do you like that, being rattled?
Well, it feels longer. I don't like the story. I don't like the way it ended. I don't like the plot points.
You thought it was ludicrous?
Thought it was ludicrous. Not even ludicrous. I was just like, this is dumb. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm glad it's done and over. But again, like, it's a YA and I am an adult and I understand that I'm not a teenager.
That's alright. Now I don't really understand how people were comparing this to, like, ACOTAR and stuff.
Right? Because I always saw those TikToks that were like, if you love ACOTAR, then you should read this next.
Yeah. I think that was a real miss on that
You know
part.
what I should read next? A bullet.
In your brain.
Mm-hmm.
But we love complete and utter honesty around here. Yeah, I agree with you. Some plot points were my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, of course.
Yeah.
Plot
I'm
points...
almost at the same hatred of Good Girl Complex.
Oh no. Hey, I don't think anything could ever get me that. Oh no. Ugh. I think Collided, because I actually did not finish that book, whereas Good Girl Complex we finished. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, plot points are ludicrous. You know, the blurb itself
is misleading.
It is very misleading because it makes Locke's death more a bigger event than what it actually was.
Yeah. It's also like it makes it out that there's going to be this big, huge, terrible war.
Yeah, and big consequence, which there was not. Yeah, the final, like, battle was very, felt really... I had a word, I was going to describe it. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot my word. Like, unfulfilling, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It was much like the second book, where we have, you know, the the standoff between Cardan and Queen Orla, except in this one it's Cardan v Maddock and his posse. And it's like they just talk their way out of it and there's hardly any battle.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that sense, lackluster is the word I was looking for. Very lackluster. And yeah, as we established last week, the whole Jude coming back to Elfheim, you know, under her own volition was very lackluster as well, even though I already figured out that trick anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like, and there's no real consequence to the traitors either. They're just like, half are either sent to die or like they just swear loyalty and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there just seems to be no real world repercussions, but of course it's a YA and you gotta suspend your disbelief for a moment and just accept that everything's gonna be happy in a magical world. I also hate the whole Vivian and Heather have to fall in love again situation, just because Vivian fucked it up the first time, which was also wrong.
Yeah, just don't be an awful person.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a lot of bad morals are woven into the guise of the YA genre and naivety. But again, it's not for me, a 26-year-old. But no, I did like the full circle moment of we started the series in the mortal world. Oh, I suppose we haven't really technically finished the mortal world yet. But in this book, in the conclusion, we ended in the mortal world, and I liked that little full circle moment.
I guess.
Yeah. You're just so resigned. You're just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
What else annoyed you? Like, do you have any like specific qualms you want to get into?
All of it.
Every single thing.
I hate how okay, let's get into it. So I hate how like Jude coming back was like under the guise of pretending to be Taryn. But then
everyone figured it out.
Yeah, and then it had to be like explicitly like told to her, like, oh, you could have just come back anyway.
Yeah.
So
I have a qualm already because it goes through the whole letters situation. Cardan sent letters. She accused Lady Asher of intercepting them, and since she can't lie, she didn't say anything much about it, which indicated that it was true. Either I skimmed so fucking bad, but Cardan, because you get the TikTok of the quotes of like, I want you to come back, like, and yell at me. Or maybe he did say that, but like I feel like I missed that part.
He wrote it in a letter.
Yeah, like is the letter itself? I don't think the letter itself was in this book, unless I skimmed so fucking bad.
I think
I feel
it
like,
is. Hang on,
I feel
sorry,
like
I was just taking a photo of.
That's okay. But yeah, I feel like it must be like a bonus content. Yeah, because he does tell her like I wrote to you to come back, whatever. But the actual letter itself, I feel like that's like a bonus content. But if I missed it that bad, then that's on me. But I feel like I took my time reading this book and I tried to be very engrossed in the content and the story. Please be bonus content. Please be bonus content.
It's in The Queen of Nothing.
No. Alright, I must have missed it then.
Well, he says, patting the couch beside him, didn't you get my letters? What? I am confused enough that the word comes out like a croak. You never replied to one. I began to wonder if you'd misplaced your ambition in the mortal world.
Oh no, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, here are the letters. And then it has them.
But alright.
Yeah, here. You are in no mood for games. Very well. I'm in no mood for them either. Let me write it out outright. You are pardoned. I revoke your banishment. I rescind my words. Come home. Come home and shout at me. Come home and fight with me. Come home and break my heart if you must. Just come home. And then there's several others.
I fucking missed... How did I miss that? I swear to God, I did not see that.
And they're like... Hang on, I'm going to find them.
Yeah. Because if they're like... Because you know how in Kindle books they italics and make it smaller and make it like addressed like a letter.
Yeah, maybe it was like that.
I was saying if it was like that, I would have noticed it. Oh, well, I skimmed so fucking bad. Oops. I guess it shows how much I really cared. Because, yeah, I see statements of that saying on Twitter and all that, TikTok and all that stuff, and I'm like, where was this moment? Because I knew about the letters, and he said he sent them. But the contents itself... Or maybe it was, and I'm just forgetting in my fog of brain fog.
I said like right at the end.
Could very could very well be at the end. Be like, thanks for finishing the book. Here is the.
No, I can't find it anyway.
Yeah. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, I just feel like it must have been skipped. Oh well, but yeah, because it was a.
Maybe I'll Google what chapter.
Maybe because it was a pretty big. Online makes it seem as this really big romantic moment, which I guess it is. But yeah. Did it explicitly say how long Jude was in the mortal world before the beginning of this book? Because I, again, can't remember. Because it felt like months. Or probably even weeks.
It was a long time.
It was a fair chunk of time. Oh, that's alright. You really want to get to the bottom of this, don't you? For someone who doesn't care. We'd love to see it.
Oh, I can't find it anyway. Hang on. How long did Jude be exiled in the mortal world? I cannot find the answer.
Oh, that's okay.
That's what it says.
That's okay.
That's on Goodreads.
That's alright. Doesn't matter.
I think it's forever, says someone.
I mean, may as well.
I mean, no, but...
Nice.
Alright, anyway.
Nice try. Anyway, but yeah.
Back to the book.
Yeah, Jude coming back seemed a bit lackluster as well, because...
Also convenient that Jude meets someone who just happens to tell her that Maddox is planning to attack Cardan.
Oh yeah, the Grimer Mog or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it as well real quick. Like, she is a fucking cannibal, bro. She eats
yummy.
folk.
That's fine.
I
can forgive murder.
But cannibalism is where we draw the line. Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was going to be, like, on a baddie side because we don't trust her. But it turns out she's just a exiled also, like, red cap. And the red cap is what Jude aspired to be, essentially, in the first book. Because to make money...
Maddox would not make her.
And to make money in the mortal world, she would be hired by local folk in the mortal world to do nitty-gritty tasks / assassinations. And so she was sent to assassinate Grimer Mog, and they have a duel. Respect. And Jude won, of course, and in turn has the vow that Grimer Mog will stop eating the local folk in the mortal world.
Yeah.
It must have been a huge problem for, to have someone be sent to assassinate her. And then she just becomes an ally throughout the entirety of this book.
Ally!
And I feel like, where was she in the second book? That's another thing. Like, characters are kind of introduced or repurposed for almost no reason, or make an appearance for almost no real good reason in this book as well. Because we learn about these people a lot in the first book, and then they make a menial appearance in the second book, and then the third book they're just there to be allies. Ally, as Kenzie would say.
Ally! Alright, shall we talk about Taryn?
Yes, Locke is dead. Who knew she had it in her?
I know, Taryn comes as like, sup bitch, I killed Locke,
Help
now
me.
I'm on trial, help. Which, I hate everything about this.
Okay, go on.
Just because Taryn was like this little, she was like, the complete opposite of Jude. She was like the meek,
The obedient little
soft
housewife.
twin, obedient little housewife who loved Locke or whatever, and now suddenly she's just like, what murder?
I love it. Yes. What murder?
I just think it's a complete 180 on her characterization and her character development in the books, and it was just a cheap way to get Jude to come back.
I mean, yeah. But I'm also glad that Locke's dead, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's just, I think it got to a point where he was mistreating her, not only in a, I suppose, cheating sense, but in just a perhaps verbal abuse type of sense as well, because he was always mocking and ridiculing the mortals and the humans. And so I think she just had enough, which is fair enough.
Yeah, and so she tells Jude to come back because Jude still has her glamour or whatever, that she can't, that she can lie. She can't have another geese put on her. So Taryn's like, you need to come and pretend to be me in trial because you can lie. She's like, and if I go, then they'll make me lie. And no, they'll make me not able to lie. And then
she would be in trouble. Yeah, big trouble. And also, plot twist. Did you see this coming? Taryn is pregnant. Which is weird. I don't know.
Go Rush!
Yeah, I just don't like
it.
Because
she's 17.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that it was Locke either.
Yeah.
Locke and her were intimate. I just don't like that idea.
We're intimate.
Hey, this is a YA book, alright? Yeah, and I suppose she didn't want... she kind of reflects on her life growing up as a mortal, being like bullied and stuff, and she didn't want that sort of life for her baby because her baby would have been a changeling, which is like a half mortal, half fae. Yeah, so, and she didn't want that sort of ridicule for the child growing up. So fair enough. So yeah, just outright kills Locke. Loves it. Just stabs him in the neck.
Fun.
And then she like has the goal to bury his body, or yeah, she chucked it in the sea because she also wanted to make it think that the undersea were the ones to kill him, which is a bit far-fetched.
Well, I was going to say, like, surely the undersea are going to be like, yo, Locke's body has just like
your boy
been floating around.
You know what? No one gives a shit about Valerian. He died in the first book, and no one has asked about him. Like, I don't know. Was this series just rushed, or is it just that YA aspect where you can get away with like not having to resolve those sorts of things? Or maybe, I know Valerian was never that important, but like, come on, he just disappeared. He was part of Cardan's posse, and now he's just in the underground in the estate still. Insane. But yeah, I agree with you about Taryn. Yeah, she always came across as that, very held back, very poised, a much groomed fae woman, like groomed in the position of a fae woman as well. And then for her to just do like a 180, but understandable where it came from. Can we talk about how also Vivian knew about Jude being High Queen? And we didn't even get to see Jude tell her. Like, those moments as well, there are a lot of moments in this book where characters happen to know things, but like we didn't see the interaction. And for a book that's this short, surely you could have added a few more pages. It's short, but it's also, in a way, concise in what happens, whether or not it's boring or you think it's boring. Like, everything's concise and happens, in a succinct way. But yeah, I would have loved to see more interactions of Jude telling Vivi and us having Vivi's reaction. Alrighty, the inquest. Jude obviously sneaks in as Taryn.
And Cardan's like, hang on.
I know this chick.
Who the fuck is this bitch?
And it was funny reading, Jude's kind of inner monologue and being like, this is how, act subconsciously knowing how Taryn would react to certain things.
Yeah.
Like, I liked that.
Which, I guess it's also like a twin tuition.
Twin tuition does not exist.
Yes, it does.
Fantasy twin tuition surely does exist.
Hey, my mum is a twin, and she said that, when her twin was hurt, when they were kids, they knew.
Alright, sure.
So,
it's all in their head.
I'll fight you on that.
It's all in her head. So, yeah, Cardan pretty much knew it was Jude straight away. He recognises his lover.
He's like, hey, that's that bitch I want to fuck.
And so they start conversing as Taryn. They end up talking to Jude a little bit, about Jude. And then that's where we get a little mention of the letters as well, like asking Taryn if Jude got his letters or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I yearn for you. I sent you letters.
Yeah. He's grovelling. Our man is grovelling. And then once the inquest is over, there is sort of an attack / a kidnapping on Taryn's life because Maddox is trying to save her. He comes barging in. He manages to take her. I think Jude in this sense thought there was going to be an attack on Cardan as well. I don't know. She protects him. And anyway, so Maddox and his posse save Taryn. But Cardan, knowing that it's Jude, really tried to protect her. Yeah. And so Maddox, in a way, was confused as to why Cardan was trying so hard.
To protect Taryn.
Yeah, exactly. Surely that was a giveaway in itself.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like Cardan never really cared about Taryn.
Yeah.
Well, now they're brother and sister-in-law, so it's fun. So then Maddox and his posse are on the way to the Court of Teeth, because that's where his independent alliance is being held, because he has stripped back his generalship to the High King, and he is, an independent mercenary, essentially, cultivating his own army to take the throne.
He's a piece of shit.
He really is, and, with this series, he has done some awful things, just off the get-go. He killed their mother, and they keep calling him dad. If someone killed my parents and then facaded as my father, I'd be like, fuck you. I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to...
And you raised me as a warrior, and then you didn't even give me, a warrior's, title.
Exactly. What the fuck? You took my life away from me and then just, paraded as a family, as if nothing happened. I don't get that relationship. And she still gives him mercy at the end. Pissed me off. He just needed to die. I suppose with the Fae in this book, you can make promises and vows to no end for them to never, like, seek harm on you ever again. I suppose that's the only real thing about it. It's crazy. Like, there was no high stakes, I felt, either.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just, like, lived happily. Like, even the roach, he could have died. Would have been like, that's fine. Even Cardan could have died. I would have been like, that's fine. So yeah, heading to the Court of Teeth, which is where Grimmermog, however you want to say her, was exiled from. And so she has beef with that court as well. And our old mate Grimson is there, for those following along at home. And remember, he is the one who created the blood crown and the curse, blah, blah, blah. He set up a little forgery there because all he wants is glory. He wants to make artifacts and magical items for people who are going to, like, win wars and stuff. And he just wants that honor for people to remember who he was. So he's a slimy little weasel.
But also, like, he makes, spoiler alert, cursed items.
We're past spoiling. Like, let's just rip it out.
So, like, surely, like, the act of winning, like, a battle or a war or whatever, like, with a cursed object, like, isn't a fair playing field.
No, hell no. And why is he the only one allowed to manipulate magic to do that? Or I suppose Mother Marrow as well, but I suppose they're all fae, so they all have access to magic. I'm now curious as to what the curse for Maddox's sword would have been. Because we only get to see it destroy shit.
Maybe it would be like, maybe like it always does a killing blow or something.
Maybe. But yeah, we get that tidbit early on that Grimson's, all of his artifacts and magical items, they are inherently cursed, as well as offer a boon, essentially. Which, I forgot about that point until Cardan turned into a serpent. I was like, yes, I remember that.
Oh, are we going there?
I'm just talking, I'm just saying shit, you know, hey, we can talk freely. Anyway, we meet two irrelevant royals of the Court of Teeth. Lady Nor and Lord Jarrell.
Yeah.
And their queen daughter.
I forgot about them, so that's how important they are.
Queen Seren. I just found it interesting how, because it was a political game with this court almost, because their daughter is like 5 years old or whatever, and like she's a queen and she's a changeling. And there was a reason why that was. It's so they can pledge their allegiance to her and not like the High King and stuff. It was pretty cool. There are cool political power play aspects to this book, I will admit. But she is essentially bridled up magically and like is like physically restrained, and it's a very like abusive situation, which also comes into play later on anyway.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about what's his name? Cardan turning into a snake.
That's so far at the end, Kenzie.
No, it's not. It's like a majority of the book.
No, it's not.
It is. Well, it felt like it.
I kept track of the percentages, okay? Like, 45% of the book was the Court of Teeth bullshit and Jude parading as Taryn.
Okay, yeah, well, anyway, moving on. So, Grima Mog bends her knee to Jude, declaring her the true queen. Fun.
Jesus Christ. No, we're going back. It's important. It's important. We're going back to the Court of Teeth.
It's not important.
Yeah, they find the ghost. That's important.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because he worked for Locke. See, this is another, again, with the whole behind-the-scenes shit, we don't know the ghost and Locke ever interacted. And now this deadlock
but also, it's not important.
But it's just, let me be angry.
I'm angry, but I'm also angry at how utterly unenjoyable this book was.
It's alright. Alright, I'll say one thing and then we'll go forward, okay?
Okay. Me?
I really kind of enjoyed the way, because Maddox and Jude have a conversation at the Court of Teeth in their tent or whatever, and it was pretty cute when Maddox was trying to like reward Taryn for her loyalty, and he admits that he didn't know she had it in her to kill Locke and all that type of stuff. It was very flattering and complimentary, and it just sucked that Jude was the one to hear it and not Taryn herself, because it sounded like in that moment Maddox was incredibly proud of her, because he feels that all his attention is on Jude.
I don't trust anything he says. I don't trust anything he does. I think he was just saying it because he knows that Jude will always not like him, and he's like, well, I can win Taryn, and then that's all I need.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
shoot me down.
I also don't. No, I'm shooting the book down. I also don't care if this is like a shorter episode because Fourth Wing was so long.
I will drag this out, Kenzie.
I'm not done. I'm just saying.
I also found it far-fetched that Oriana figured out it was Jude as well, Because I feel like Oriana didn't really care about Jude, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Or
like,
even both
I'm
of them.
talking like if it's a 45, but we're good.
Yeah, that's okay. And then, obviously, Cardan and the Roach try and rescue Jude. But then she wants to rescue the ghost. What are you doing? You raised your hand. All right, Kenzie, what do you want?
I have a question.
Okay, what's your question?
Who cares?
Clearly I do.
Sorry, okay, I know you enjoyed this.
Why are you in such a silly, goofy mood today? Is it that brownie that you had?
Yeah, I just finished it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think I heated it up too long. It was a bit soft.
Oh, stiff shit.
Yeah.
I have a question.
A firm dessert.
Who cares?
Can you raise your hand? If you have a question, you can raise your hand.
You can't even see my hand.
No, you can do it up here.
I know.
Yeah.
You do
that.
I don't want to.
Do that.
Wait.
Well, then your question is invalid.
Alright, fine. Anyway, Cardan and co rescue Jude.
Yes. Cute.
Jude is injured, and then she uses the earth to heal herself.
No, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
This is actually something I care about.
Okay.
First off, I have a question, and that question is, what the fuck?
You didn't raise your hand, so it's invalid.
Oh, wait, hang on. Okay.
Alright.
I have a question.
Okay.
That question is, what the fuck? I understand. Okay, here's my spiel. I understand that it was done to symbolize that she's like the true queen, and that like the land is recognizing her as the queen because like Cardan has like control over nature because he's king. But also, we never really see Cardan do any like land manipulation apart from like that one time he raised the water a little bit to scare the queen of the undersea. So then like Jude does it like unawares that she's doing it.
I think she had every intention. It was just whether or not it worked.
Yeah, and because it heals her or whatever. And then so I get the symbolism, but it's like quite an OP power, and it's never used again.
Yeah. And being mortal, they've never had access to using magic or manipulating magic.
Yeah.
Of course, magic...
And then, like, it doesn't, like, she can't use it, like, she doesn't use it in any other part of the book.
I mean, she heals the roach, but other than that, like, it's not... Other than healing properties, she doesn't use it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I agree with that. Wholeheartedly. 110%. Valid. Opinion valid, Kenzie. We love that for you.
So, it was just kind of like... Why? You did this for why?
Yeah. I don't know, because as I was finding my 5-star and 1-star, I was, sifting through some comments, and there was like a comment that indicated that this book must have been rushed and all that stuff, because everything seemed to be just like plotted together. And it's like, I mean, that's a fair take on it. But yeah, this book does seem kind of rushed to have a conclusion.
Like, I feel like, there was just lots of like little plot points that are just thrown in for fun.
And there's a lot of throwback to like, or mentions of like Lady Asher and how she feels about like Cardan ruling and his upbringing. It's like, we're 3 books in now, do we really care? Anyway, cool, moving on. At some point, Cardan reveals to everyone that Jude is the queen and she is to be respected and curtsied as such, I guess, recognised. And then that's when he also kind of reveals to Jude in private that she could have come back at any time because she is the queen and she could pardon herself, essentially.
Yes. She's an idiot.
For a mortal who, who says that she's grown up in Faerie and she's able to understand the trick of the words and the way they say their promises and stuff, she's really a bit dumbfounded in this moment. She confronts Lady Asher about Cardan as well, Cardan's mother. And, last book, she has a conversation with Lady Asher and they talk about her mother Eva and how she had many secrets or whatever. But then it's like that plot point has been erased now. It's like, is Jude not curious as to what her mother was about in her past life? Crazy. Anyway, so many little things left unfinished. I suppose it may potentially be uncovered in the next book, but we're not going to do that. So we'll just look up a summary and see if our queries are answered. Then there's this whole thing about freeing the ghost. I don't like this back and forth with the ghost and his loyalty. He was loyal to Prince Dane, which is fair, and inherently was then loyal to Jude in the first book. In the second book, he's like, fuck you, I was only ever loyal to Dane. Goes off, does his own thing, and then off-screen becomes...
Good guy.
tied in with Locke and like assassinating people and doing all this shit. Then he's in league with Maddox because they know his true name. And then now he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And now he's like in league with Taryn because Taryn knows his full name.
Yeah.
And now he's a good guy again. It's like,
yeah,
just kill.
It's like, could we not have just killed him off?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no high stakes. And Garrett, what a name! What a boring Fae name. So yeah, he's essentially under Taryn's control. Which it was good because then he's alleviated from Maddox's control, and Maddox would want Cardan dead.
Can we talk about Cardan turning into a snake?
You really want to talk about that, do you?
Yes.
But before that, real quick, Jude and Cardan have sex. It was lovely. It was like, whatever. All right, done. Go.
Yeah, that was okay. I'm raising my hand.
Yes, Kenzie, what's your question?
And my question is, what the fuck?
Hey, if anything about this book that was clever, it's that the front cover itself was a broken crown and a black serpent, and like that just surmises the entire book. And it's very creative, very artsy. I loved it.
Yeah, so Cardan breaks his crown because he's like, this is symbolism because it's the end of the old ways and everyone like fighting for power. He also wanted it to be a means to fulfill the prophecy that Cardan would be the end of the crown and that out of his blood a great ruler would rise. However, the crown made by Grimson is, of course, cursed.
Yes.
And breaking it turns him into a giant snake. Yes, so Cardan eats Grimson.
We love that. Off the bat.
Yeah, which, like, fair. Yeah, so now Jude
Isn't that symbolism in itself? Like, the creature is created, destroys its great maker.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. So now Jude is the only ruler, and everyone tells her to kill Cardan, but she's like, no thanks.
Technically, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
How funny. Him breaking the crown, it was giving me Mean Girls vibes. You know, breaking off and chucking it to everybody. It's like, here's a piece for Maddox, here's the piece for Queen Orla. It's great.
Yeah. Jude, like, gets everyone together and is like, all right, we gotta figure out what the fuck's going on.
I have a question.
Yes. Can you raise your hand, please, if you have a question?
I forget how to do it. Oh, here we go.
It's up in the,
It's not up on my screen.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right, I have a question.
Yes.
For why?
Yeah. Valid. Yeah. So the ghost is forgiven. Just
for why?
For why? And reunites with the bomb in the road, so they're all back together. Mother Marrow tells Jude that she already knows the answer about Cardan's transformation.
These vague third party pushing to the answer
that are just introduced. Yeah.
Mother Marrow, the woman that you are. I still love Jude. I love her ruthlessness. I love her ambition. I don't care what you say, Kenzie.
Yeah.
She, even though she had too many pieces on her plate in this fucking mortal world, but as a mortal, she defiled an entire Fae court, and I respect that.
Okay.
Just okay.
Fair. Anyway, Lady Nor and Lord Jarrell Hilbert are like, hey, we can give you a golden bridle so that you can just, like, ride the snake around.
Hey, she's ridden Cardan Snake.
Hey!
He's Johnson.
But for this bridle, they're like, you have to marry
Oak.
Their daughter to Oak. Yeah, so their queen. And she's like, no thanks.
I'll think about it.
You're going to control me.
Yeah, she figures, again, Jude, like, you think she's so smart, but sometimes she's just so dumb. She didn't realise that the Lord was trying to trap her and Cardan together. Like, the whole, bargain was, twisted in a way.
So she invites Maddox's forces and her own to witness the bridling of the snake.
Yeah, because the Court of Teeth and Maddox's posse tried to do it to Cardan as a serpent, but the serpent was just overpowered and killed a whole fucking battalion. Because also the serpent, it, like, as he slithers around, he's like seeping poison into the earth and stuff. So,
yeah,
which is
yummy. And like it's like breaking open and stuff.
Yeah, he's like path of destruction.
Yeah. But anyway, Jude's like, oh, hang on a minute. I'm a kill the snake. I'm a kill Cardan.
Yeah, because it becomes a tense moment where, you know, she's close to Cardan, everybody is watching, and then she's like has the bridle out, and then she pulls it away, and that's when like all hell essentially breaks loose because she is breaking this bargain that was semi accepted, but there were other moving parts to it.
But then I guess like because she can't like have a geese or whatever, like maybe their bargain is like
Oh, it was more like...
doesn't work.
It was more like... It was like in parts.
Yeah.
Like
Can you please lower your hand?
Oh, what? Is it still on? I thought...
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Forgive me, teacher. Forgive me.
Anyway, and so this pays off for Jude.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Sorry.
Cardan emerges from the serpent's body more powerful than ever, fulfilling the prophecy of, from his blood will come a great ruler. Which is like tricky wording.
Yeah, very tricky wording. I just knew that she was going to have to kill the serpent regardless.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like there was no other way.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a surprise to me. I did enjoy how they put Heather to work in the library trying to find solutions in fairy tales.
They're like, you can't really do much, but
he can read.
Do this.
He can read.
Yeah.
She would make a good scribe. Quick shout out to this book, because even before this, there's a little moment where Taryn and Vivian and Heather were chatting or whatever, and Taryn finally reveals to Vivian that she's pregnant, I think. Or they have pregnancy discussions. I don't know. But then Vivian was like, in the murder world, there's this procedure called an abortion, and like, we love that. I love that representation.
Yeah.
Because there are options.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, but because it's known as just like a mortal procedure. It's fair enough. But anyway, Taryn wants to keep the baby. Just a fun little tidbit, because I know how we feel about books mentioning or lacking mention of abortions as options if they're talking about realistic romances.
Yeah. All good. Would you like to talk about the last little bit?
What's the last... The battle? What?
The book?
The epilogue? What?
Sure.
The battle?
Well, what happens after Jude and Cardan is free? Jude and Cardan declare their love for each other.
Reading. Yeah, they declare their love, and he fixes the throne, and it's cute. It's a nice little metaphor of obviously fixing what you've meant to destroy.
Destroyed.
Exactly.
Grima Mog is made general.
Yeah, I thought she was just going to be an enemy because she just seemed sussy-wussy, but like, hey, we love a cannibal on your side.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Jude spares Maddox's life, but forbids him to ever use a weapon.
Yeah, this is an epilogue. All right.
Yeah.
There's a coronation. Taryn, as a boon for her loyalty, gets Locke's estate as a widow, which is fun. We love that. Fair enough. The Court of Shadows get a mask.
Crown of Midnight.
Essentially. They get a special mask that assists in their spying. So, like, you won't be able to distinguish, like, the tone of voice or their voices or how their heights and all that stuff. It distorts them, essentially.
Yeah.
Which, the ghost should have died, but whatever.
Yeah.
There were two sets of, like, guards that rocked up. One represented the traitors who wanted to die a traitor, and then there are traitors who want to reform. So the reform pledged their loyalty and all that stuff to Cardan and Jude, and then the others were turned into falcons, and they could only rely on the kindness of, like, people to feed them, because they're not allowed to kill another human being or something like that. It was pretty gnarly, though. And then, Maddox was also banished to the mortal realm to live out his days as an immortal, but okay, and he's to never raise a weapon. Which, ultimately, that annoyed me, because Vivian wanted to seek peace in the mortal world away from Maddox, and yet she is essentially forced to have him in her vicinity, essentially.
But I guess, like, if he can't wield a weapon.
Yeah, I know, but like...
And he's exiled, so he can't ever go back into...
I know, but Vivian, all she ever wanted was to live in the mortal world, and now that Maddox in the mortal world, he's just imposing on her space inadvertently, even though he's exiled. It's like, it's just a bad situation for Vivian, because she spent her whole life, avoiding Maddox out of spite, and now he is up in her grill. Ochre's lenient to the Court of Teeth's young child queen, because he's a compassionate little fellow, and he doesn't even want to be High King, he keeps saying in this book, which, like, listen to him.
But, like, also he's like...
Yeah. He's too mature for his age. So the Court of Teeth, the lady, whoever, she pledges her allegiance to her daughter, which takes a turn because she seems to be like a cruel queen, or a cruel child, essentially. She seems really weird, Queen Surin. So after her mother essentially pledges her loyalty to her, Jude is like, fun fact, we are beseeching all your lands and abolishing all your titles. You're fucked. Get fucked, cunt. Love that. And then, of course, yes, Maddox is banished and to never wield a weapon again. Just kill him! Just kill him. And maybe Vivian will kill him. Maybe he'll be killed in the most mortal/human mundane way possible. He might get hit by a bus, Regina George style.
Hopefully, that would be nice.
Is it Regina George? No, it's just Regina. Where did...
Yeah, it's Regina George.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know. I just really doubted myself for a second there.
No, you good. You got this.
Hey, second Mean Girls reference for the app. We love that for me. And as a celebration, because, I don't know, they want to celebrate their marriage or their newlywedship in the mortal world, they go back to Vivian and Heather's apartment because they've made up now because they've refallen in love and reintroduced each other, which is bizarre in itself.
Yeah, but like, how do you go back from that?
Yeah, I know. So they have a wedding party and pizza and, you know, they just end it in the mortal world. And that's what I love. Full circle. And ironically, Madoc would somewhere be in the mortal world, so I feel like it all doesn't make sense. And Oriana is just chilled because she technically was just the wife and following him around. And yeah, book's done. We love that. Book's done.
I love that it's done. Didn't love the book. Didn't love the series.
I did enjoy the first two books. This book, it just seemed, like they just needed a conclusion. Too much is kind of, it felt really rushy towards the end. And I felt like, the whole Cardan serpent situation didn't last that long, even though in the book...
I feel like it was like a lead up to like such a big plot point, and then it was just kind of like, oh, okay, so he just slithers around for a little bit.
Yeah, causes chaos.
And then,
And there wasn't really much actual war battling. And to think in the first book that's something that like Jude vied for in becoming a part of that society.
Yeah, for sure. I know that like was like her whole like childhood, and that's like, oh, okay, you just get to be queen, which is like fair, but like you just wanted to battle.
Which is funny. I feel like Jude is such a violent person and she's willing to do all the dirty work, doing violent things and killing people, and I feel like there was not that much violence at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Although Cardan using his magic in the second book, like to threaten, that was pretty gnarly, but like he could have like massacred the whole undersea army, and like that would have been pretty gruesome, but he didn't. So yeah, there's not a lot of there's like menial violence, but it's not too. But yeah, Heather just being there, we love that. Gay rights. Glad that Locke's dead again.
Yeah, but again, like a lot of character for him to just be killed off screen.
Maybe because it is that plot device that drives Jude's story a lot more. And like I think it was revealed when Cardan was giving Taryn her boon, they mentioned her and her baby. It's like I felt like Madoc could have been surprised and Oriana could have been surprised, but there was no mention of that, so it's like, do they even really care? Yeah, that's the thing, like it seemed pretty untidy, unpolished in that sense.
I know, so now I mean it probably was rushed.
Maybe, but it's YA, who cares? We're not here to be super duper critical, as judgmental and everything we were. It is what it is. Alrighty, shall we go to the stars that listen, Kenzie? Or no last second lingering thoughts?
No, my stars will say it all.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So we pick a 5-star and a 1-star review from Goodreads just for shits and gigs. We start off with the 1-star and end with the 5-star just because we want to end on a relatively positive note, especially with how we feel about this book.
Yes, I have 2 of each as well.
Oh, okay. I only managed to find 1. And we haven't shown each other these, and in general, since Goodreads is a public forum, we didn't look too hard for these either. So, my 1-star review. This series had so much potential, and I really wanted to like it. 3 books later, and I still don't really love any of the characters. The plot is jerky and confusing most of the time, but could have been interesting. I'm glad I decided to finish the series, but I'm definitely disappointed. That's fair and valid.
Alright, my first one is rubbish. Yes, that's the entirety of my review. One word. I refuse to spend any more days of suffering through this.
Oh, love that.
And then my other 1-star is, the title is fitting because I really felt nothing by the end.
Yeah, you really tried to make that joke early on. Love it. Alrighty, 5-star. My 5-star review. Jude and Cardan are not just a couple. They're a lifestyle, a cultural reset, a reason to breathe, an escape from this cruel world, a work of art, a hug from a loved one, a religion to which we pray, everything I've ever wanted and everything I need.
Wow.
Your facial expressions. It's like, what is this chick on? What are you high on?
Alright, so my first one is I sobbed.
Okay.
And my other one is, they truly took Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Worm to a whole new level.
Would you love me if I was a serpent and I just attacked everybody? Oh, but quickly, but it was cute because Cardan, even in serpent form, recognised Jude and he wouldn't attack her, which is great.
Which I guess
But a serpent out of all things you could turn into.
Yeah.
But he was a pretty OP serpent.
Yeah.
Anyway. How are we going for time?
We're at 52
Jesus,
minutes.
that's pretty good though.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
And we've been concise.
Yeah.
Alright. No last lingering thoughts, feelings?
No.
You're done? Happy to be done?
Yes.
Alright, and I suppose with that concludes this episode of Letterboxd Book Club.
Thank you everybody for listening. You can find us on Instagram at letterbox_book_club, and from there in our bio you'll find our link tree, which will take you to all the places that people usually are on social media.
And now you can find the link tree on our TikTok page as well.
Woohoo!
Love this for us.
Thank you for listening, everybody.
Catch us next week for The Hating Game, which is fun.
Stay safe out there.
Stay safe, don't turn into a serpent. Alright, bye.
Yeah, bye.